We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Tuesday. Now, last night I did a YouTube live because I'm a lazy bastard. It was an easy way to do a podcast. Went pretty well. YouTube's a little slower going, but we had a lot of people come in, a lot of questions, a lot of comments, a lot of conversation. So I had such a good time, got a little cocky with myself, and I said, maybe we should take it easy again tonight and this time do a live on TikTok. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a live on TikTok because it's been a while. And we're also going to make it a Rational Boomer podcast because I'm a lazy bastard. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I'm a little out of touch with the news. I'm trying to keep up to date as much as I can, doing the TikToks and doing all these things. But this is much easier. The people who come into the show and ask questions and comment, they're pretty well informed. If I have a guest on, it's even better. And we're no doubt going to have a guest or two the remainder of this week. I am in Savannah, Georgia, up through Thursday morning. I'll be back Thursday afternoon. We'll be back doing regular podcasts from my home in Minnesota. TJ the plumber is out there. You'll note him. He is at one of the moderators. Maybe Great Captain is out there. And they'll be dealing with the Trumplefucks. Now, we didn't have that much trouble with the Trumplefucks yesterday during the YouTube live, which is good. Excuse me. Somebody's been asking, where's Ed been? Good question. I called him last week and he says, I got a dentist appointment. And every time I talk to him, he's got something else going. He's anxious to get back on, but he's an old man and he's got a lot of things he's got to tend to. He is retired, but apparently he's a busy motherfucker. So he's going to be probably next week, probably next Friday or Saturday probably. Ellen Upchurch says, good evening, Mike. It was a lovely day in Camden, South Carolina. Well, I don't know how far you are from Savannah, Georgia, but I'll agree with you. We've got wonderful weather here. Now, KB just came on here and said, you're still crying? Why don't you get over it? And of course, now he's blocked. We don't give a shit about KB. You notice how the Republicans are really poor losers? You won. You got the presidency, you got the House, you got the Senate. Shut up, fucking do something. We're going to sit back and watch you. And when you don't, or when you fail, or when you fuck up, we are going to be here to make fun of you and call you out. Have the prices dropped yet? No. Is the Ukraine-Russian war over yet? No. Nothing Donald Trump has promised has come true as yet. I understand he's not the president yet, but he was making all kinds of claims, your Lord and Savior. He doesn't know fuck all. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's about to get embarrassed, and so are you. I'm so sick of my fellow liberals who believe everything is going to work out. No, nobody thinks it's going to work out. The point is you got to deal with what you got to deal with. Ultimately, the Republicans will go down in flames. I was hoping sooner than later, but the fact is they will because they're failures. They fuck up all the time. And so ultimately, it will be fine. I get sick of people saying, oh, the world is going to explode, the sky is falling, and it'll never be okay again. If you've got that attitude, well, then you might as well just go in the corner and cry. There's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's got to be some hope in life. If you don't have hope in life, what's the fucking point of living? Moki Maven says, Mike, can you discuss the video I sent about Trump being a Russian asset? I get a lot of videos. I'm pretty sure I saw that video. But in terms of Trump being a Russian asset, I think he is probably a Russian asset, but not in the way that you think. Donald Trump is not smart enough to be a spy, but he is dumb enough to be manipulated by Vladimir Putin. And that's probably what's happening. Vladimir Putin knows what to do to make him do whatever he wants. I mean, anybody can manipulate Donald Trump. It's very fucking simple. All you have to do is tell him he's a good boy, tell him he's great, and he'll do anything you like. Or you can do what Vladimir Putin's doing now and scaring the piss out of him, pushing him back, and he's keeping his mouth shut like a little fucking bitch. Is he a Russian asset? Whether he is intentionally or just by virtue of being a useful idiot, yeah, he is definitely a Russian asset. Cynthia from California, what's up, Cynthia? I was in California a short time ago. Alan Upchurch, just a 3 hour drive from Savannah. I've been to South Carolina many times, Alan. I haven't been to Camden, but I've been to Beaufort and Bluffton and Hilton Head and those. South Carolina is a beautiful state. I love going there. Nick Tark says, love from Kentucky. Hey, Kentucky. Wish I could say the same. The weather here is awful. Portland, Oregon. Yeah, I'm hearing about some snow coming in toward my home state of Minnesota, which probably starting out the bad weather in Portland. It's fucking winter to be December. Like I always tell people when it gets to be about late November or December, it's kind of gray and kind of dingy and getting colder every day. I said, don't worry about it. 7 months and this shit will be over. I mean, that's the real fucking truth. It takes forever. Edify, hey boomer, keep at it. Oh yeah, I'm keeping at it. Paul Stevens says, let us see what they do. And he's making the point I was making before. You won, bitches. Stop your complaining. Stop your being a victim. Show us what you can fucking do. We saw what you did in the House for the last 2 years, not jack shit. You had the majority. You thought you were tough, and you couldn't accomplish one thing. Anything you did accomplish, you needed the help of the Democrats. You motherfuckers are incompetent. You're inept. And this is what's going to happen. You have no clue how to govern, but now you wanted it, so you got it. So let's see. Renee's bored. I'm exhausted by the rumors of the Dems doing anything about Trump fraud. They aren't. Renee, I have to agree with you. I keep hearing people telling me, oh, this is going to happen. Just wait. I hear the psychics and the astrologers on TikTok. I know something's going on. I get that feeling. Listen, I'm not jumping on any fucking bandwagon of election fraud. There may very well have been election fraud. If Donald Trump is involved, you can almost be sure there's some corrupt criminal motherfucking behavior. However, we need to see evidence first before I even really spend any time talking about it. And then we have to figure out, will the Democrats and the DOJ actually do something about it? I'm dubious about that. So I'm not going to jump on that. This is just another thing that's going to cause people to be disappointed. And I'm not interested in that. I want to deal with the real facts and what's going on and what we need to do. What the fuck is going on here? You'll deny anything the Republicans do because you lack critical thinking. Oh, good one. No, you know what? You lack um, being in this motherfucker anymore because I'm tired of your shit. No Trump fucks. I'm in the same mood. I just don't want to talk to him. I'm not going to argue with a Trump fuck. You got what you want. Show us what you got. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. You don't get to come to our party. You don't get to come to our Thanksgiving because you're a virus and you're evil and you're stupid. And I like to have fun during the holidays. Uh, KMBC here for the fuck around and find out MAGA TikToks. Yeah, we got a few of those. I'm loving those. Tim Huffman says, hi, Mike. Hey, Tim. Do you think anything will prevent Trump from taking office? Yeah, there's a couple of things that could. But it's none of it's good news for Donald Trump. He's a 78-year-old man. He's not in the best physical or mental shape. Anything could happen. You talked about Joe Biden making it through another 4 years. I don't think Donald Trump has the wherewithal to do that. Schumer is $1 short. You said Shimmer, but I'm sure you're talking about Schumer. Yeah, Schumer needs to be replaced as the leader of the minority in the Senate. He's just not strong enough. He's a lot like Merrick Garland as the AG. They don't even they are too afraid to do their job, and I'm tired of that shit. Dana says, I'm afraid once Trump is in, he will stay. He won't get him out of the White House. No, that's not true. I mean, there's a lot of constitutional reasons why he can never do that. He can talk a lot, but that's not going to happen. I'll be honest with you. You won't have to worry about the Democrats getting him out of office. Once he's inaugurated and once he's there and he starts doing stupid shit, you'll watch the Republicans wanting to get rid of his ass. Even Jesse Waters' mother told him not to come home for Thanksgiving. I wouldn't have him come home for Thanksgiving either, that greasy fucking motherfucker. He is such a suck ass. He's got no integrity. I wouldn't want him around either. If he was my son, I'd be fucking embarrassed of him. Um, let's see. Exactly. Put up or shut up. Yeah, I agree. You got it. You won. So fucking do it. Democrats have been very disappointing, not doing enough. They need to be doing more. Yeah, that's something I've always said. I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat. I fought with the Democrats because we had a dumpster fire in the Republicans and Donald Trump. So we had to help the Democrats to beat the Republicans. And still, the Democrats stepped on their own dick and couldn't do it. So I have a lot to say about the Democrats. I mean, when it comes down to it, we've got to pick the best choice to be in our various uh, political situations. But we couldn't even do that. We've got 50% of this country that vote for racism, misogyny, anti Semitism, and treason. They voted for that. That is a problem in this country. The Democrats need to organize better. They need to have a better message, and they need to have better candidates. Now, I'm not saying Kamala wasn't a good candidate. I think Kamala would have been a wonderful president, but we didn't account for the fact that 50% of this country were racist, sexist. And I'd be happy to argue with anybody on that point. HBB says, what will be, will be. Stay strong. There is a higher being. Sit back and wait. Did Elon and Putin mess with our elections? I don't know. And unless there's proof, it doesn't matter. We've been going, what are we out? A week and a half, 2 weeks from the election, 2 weeks from the election? If there's something going on, we need to hear about it. See, this is the thing. There's all these things going on about Matt Gaetz and the elections and all this stuff, but it's always so secret. We're hearing these rumors. Put it out for public purview, and we'll decide. This is the thing. We've got elites and politicians trying to save us from ourselves, but they keep flushing the fucking toilet on our heads. The people in this country are the people that should have the power, and the politicians don't want that. So at this point, we're in a fight for our own group. And I'm not talking about Democrats or Republicans. I'm talking about people of a right mind, people of decency, people of integrity. We need to talk loud and fight and place anybody who doesn't live up to our standards, we need to make them pay the price. Um, what else we got here? They're starting a recount. Republicans just filed 12 lawsuits to stop the recount in PA. I keep, I keep hearing about the recounts, but I see no evidence in any kind of news reports. So that may be, but I don't really fucking care. Let's deal with what we've got to deal with and what we know is true. Small town, is everyone so miserable they just want the other to be miserable? What has happened to Americans? Well, you make a good point. What has happened to Americans? It's pretty disappointing that we have as many stupid, racist people as we do in this country. Where has JD been? That's a good point. That's a good question. Where has he been? You haven't heard much from him lately. I don't think the Democrats are going to do anything, but Elon won the election. Okay, show me the evidence and I'll be happy to jump on board. But I'm not going to do the same thing the Republicans do and pull shit out of my ass and say, we got cheated. I don't know that we got cheated. I think the Democrats fucked themselves. There were 15 million Democrats who voted in 2020 that did not vote in 2024. Why would that be? Racist, sexist, or they were mad about Gaza, or whatever the fucking reason was. But 15 million Democrats didn't vote. Now, if those votes somehow did happen and they were disappeared, well, then we got something. But we need to get some proof of that. I'm not just going to say it because I'm bad at losing, because I'm not bad at losing. Can someone tell me what the criteria will be for stopping people to check their immigration status? That's a good question. You can't legally do that. And this is what I'm talking about with Donald Trump. You want to do all this shit? Go ahead, do it. And look stupid in the process or piss people off. Here's what's going to happen there's going to be a lot of outrage in the things Donald Trump decides to do. And it's not just going to be Democrats, it's going to be Republicans too. And then what the fuck are you going to do? Um, Dems are such crybabies. Trump is the man. Yeah, fuck you. I love these Republicans. Why are you even here? Why would you come in here and argue about us? You won, didn't you? You stupid motherfuckers. Just go out and do some business. Uh, Miria, I don't think we got cheated. America showed its true colors. I think you're probably right about that, and that's unfortunate. Um, he's not making excuses. Aren't you listening? Oh yeah, somebody is saying I'm making excuses. I'm not saying you won, motherfucker. Show us something. Let's see what you got. You haven't done shit yet. How can you be have won this for 2 weeks now and you haven't done anything? Exactly. They love coming in people's lives where they're not welcome. You know why they come in people's lives like mine? You know why they do that? Because they don't have the wherewithal to build any kind of platform because nobody wants to hear what the fuck they have to say. They're ignorant, they're stupid, they're conspiracy theorists. So they try to creep in here so they can get an audience and try to spew their shit. Well, that's not going to happen here. I'll tell you what, I got TJ the plumber out there blocking motherfuckers so fast your head will spin. And when he's not doing it, I'm doing it. If Gray Captain's here, he's doing it. There is no muting of Trumplefucks. We get rid of you. Ever since I've been on TikTok, I blocked every Trumplefuck that came through. People will say to me, well, how can you teach them anything if you block them? I can't teach them anything. They don't listen to fuck all. So I don't care what they think. They're inconsequential. You not only don't get to come on my TikToks, you don't get to come to Thanksgiving or Christmas either. Fuck y'all. Hopefully, they make him a lame duck for 4 years. Well, that's essentially what he's going to be. I mean, Donald Trump isn't very effective. This is one of the things you have to remember from the first 4 years he was in office. There was a lot of fears and concerns. But Donald Trump has one big problem. He's incompetent. He's stupid. He's inept. He's not able to govern. He doesn't know how to put these things together. So, for him to actually accomplish half or even a third of what he's doing, it's going to be impossible. JA says thoughts on MSNBC's talking heads visiting Trump at Mar-a-Lago. I'm glad you brought that up. I've always thought that the media, both right side and left side, have been complicit in Donald Trump getting elected the first time and the second time. They are also complicit in Donald Trump not being held accountable. That Donald Trump gets to keep spewing lies and they don't do anything about it. So after November 5th, I decided that I wasn't going to watch any of the mainstream news, the cable news, because I'm just tired of it. If we can't trust them, why would we continue to watch them? And then a story came out that said that the Morning Joe team, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, who are married, who knew Donald Trump before he was president, and then for 7 years talked shit about Donald Trump, how horrible he was, what a terrible person he was. And we agree with that, right? In that same process, Donald Trump talked shit about them a lot. So now Donald Trump wins the election, and what do Mika and Joe do? They go down, kiss the ring of Donald Trump, and they decided to open up communications. But you pussy ass bitches, here's the problem. MSNB has lost half of their audience, so they're terrified now. We got to do something. So they go down there and make nice with Donald Trump so they have access to him over the next 4 years. Well, Mika and Joe, here's the problem. What you did backfired. It's all over the news, it's all over social media, and you're going to lose more listeners. Joe and Mika had a pretty solid show for a time and a lot of viewers. They're going to start losing viewers fucking today. People aren't going to watch them. I know this because I've gotten all kinds of comments about it. I wasn't watching them anyway, but a lot more people are going to say, fuck yourself. There's no excuse for this. Here's the problem with the media. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about journalism. They don't care about the country, and they don't care about the people in this country. They care about one thing, two things: ratings and making money. That's all they care about. And they will fucking do whatever it takes to do it, whether it's wrong or bad for the country or not. They don't care. So, Mika and Joe, you can fuck yourself. I'm done with you. Somebody says the Russians were involved because the counting went too fast when Joe became president. We had to wait. Yeah, there is something to be said for that. I saw the media calling races with like 2% in. It seemed to go way faster than it did with Joe Biden. And I would like an explanation of that. I've had a couple people try, but they weren't good explanations. They weren't real. They were bullshit. Well, they know how these things goes and can predict this. Bullshit. How come they didn't do it in 2020? All right. Just a reminder to TJ, thank you for your help blocking these dumb fucks. I got another one. Um, do you think Trump has discredited all media? I have canceled all media. I think all media has discredited themselves with their behavior. I can't think of one media outlet, mainstream media outlet, that has done right by the American people when it comes to Donald Trump. They have not. They've stirred the shit. They've lied. They've let Donald Trump go wild. They attacked Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What they did was completely unfair. But we have a voice and we have a vote with the media. Don't watch them. Let them fucking die on the vine. It's people on the internet, people on TikTok, people on YouTube, Midas Touch, that sort of thing. There are plenty of places you can get the truth without the bullshit, and you don't need to go to cable to get that anymore. Um, You don't own the TV station. What the fuck are you talking about? It's called a landslide. No, it's not a landslide. Donald Trump did not have a landslide. He didn't even have a mandate like he claims to have had. That's not what that was. But it doesn't matter. It's over. You won. What are you fucking crying about? Why do you care? Here's the thing. You want us to pout and cry, which we're not going to do. To a certain extent, once November 5th was over and Donald Trump won and the House and the Senate was won by the Republicans, in a weird kind of way, it was kind of a relief. You see, people are most concerned and most worried about the unknown. When the unknown is done, you during the time you're worried about the unknown, you think of all these horrific things that will happen. Well, now we know, and nothing horrific happened as of yet. We know it could, but we don't care anymore. You won. Why focus on us? You want to argue with us? Why? You're wasting our fucking time. You're wasting your fucking time. You should be out there doing the things you claimed you were going to do. But here's the problem: Republicans can't govern. Don't believe me? Let's look at the House of Representatives, where they had the majority for the last 2 years. What have they done? They've done nothing. And the few things that they accomplished, they needed the Democrats to help them to do it. You can't even fucking do your own shit. So, yeah, I'm not. I'm done with Republicans. I don't even want to argue with them. I just want to ignore them. And now they're crying and whining. Well, no one will talk to us anymore. No shit. No shit. Nobody's going to talk to you. You're a piece of shit. Somebody says, do the math. How did more people vote than registered? That didn't happen. That didn't happen. And I don't know if you're a Trump-a-fuck or a Democrat, but if you go around spewing that, that's bullshit. Check out Mika's dad sometime. Yeah, he was the national security advisor way back, and he's of Russian descent. I don't know. I mean, I think he did a reasonable job back in the time, but what do we really know about people? Delta Dawn, as an old retired community newspaper and editor, God damn it, it keeps running away from me here. Oh, let's see. I'm sorry, this stuff. Ronnie Murphy says Democrats still crying. Ronnie, tell you what, instead of worrying about us Democrats, why don't you go back to your sex doll and your porn and before they take it away from you and entertain yourself here? They want to argue because they were ready for a fight after the election. We don't have to fight you. You'll fuck yourselves. You Democrats and Republicans, you need independents to take over. Well, one of our friends won't be silent. Abe wants to start a party of independence, but to get a third party going, that's going to take some work. It's going to take some money. Not saying it won't be done, but that's a lot of work. The main thing is there's no honor among thieves and narcissists. No, you'll see some infighting and people being cast away by Donald Trump like the last time. I'm hearing now that Elon Musk and Boris Epstein, which is a close advisor and lawyer to Donald Trump, they're fighting. They don't like Elon Musk. Here's the problem. Elon Musk is a narcissist. Donald Trump is a narcissist. Two narcissists can't exist in the same spot. Somebody's going to get mad. And since Donald Trump has the power, Elon's going to be out on his ass eventually. They don't even want to take care of veterans. Yeah, those veterans who wanted to vote for Donald Trump, now they want to cut your shit. What are you going to do about that? You're going to blame it on the Democrats? You're going to blame it on Donald Trump. You shouldn't blame it on Donald Trump because Donald Trump told you exactly what he was going to do. If you're a veteran who voted for Donald Trump and you're going to be crying about cut benefits, you know who you have to blame? Your fucking self for not being smart enough to pay attention. The other military folks that need the help, I feel sorry for them, and I'm hoping against hope that something can be done for them. But I don't trust Donald Trump when it comes to giving anybody money but himself. Um, Randy says Trump is your daddy. You know what? You know what, Randy? You just got blocked. And Trump is not my daddy. I will tell you this, though. One of the reasons I know exactly how it's going to go for Donald Trump is because my dad was actually a lot like Donald Trump. That motherfucker ended up dead in a one-room apartment in his underwear alone. That's where Donald Trump will end up. Truer words never spoken. Thank you very much, sir, for swatting that fly. Love it. Thank you. I don't watch the news. Where does the House stand? Well, the Republicans got the House. Again, another slim majority, which makes it tough for the Republicans. Even though they've got a slim majority, they have the same problem that they had the last 2 years. They're not a unified party. You got the MAGA fucks and you got people that think they're normal, but they're not really normal because they side with Donald Trump. But they can't agree on anything. So if the Republicans do want to pass something in the House, they're going to either have to convince the Democrats to help them or just fuck themselves. All right. Name calling gets you nowhere. They will see this. Dude, don't tell me how to do my fucking live. Do your own live and do it your way. I'm me. This is how I am. If you don't like it, forget it. And of course, his name is Stud Bourbon. I wouldn't be surprised if you're an alcoholic, but I saw your picture. You're hardly a fucking stud. Will the election be overturned? Who knows in this fucking crazy world, but my guess is no. You're brand new to me and I like truth, attitude, and fall language. Well, you're my kind of viewer. Thank you. because that's all you're going to get from me. I do swear. I do try to speak the truth as best as I can, and I will throw it in somebody's face, whether you be Democrat or Republican. If you're lying, if you're lying, you're fucking gone. Like this guy. This guy, what's his name? Joe Prevesto. He's a Trump humper. Shouldn't you be busy deporting people? Why are you here? We don't give a fuck about you. And Trump was probably threatened by Putin to pick Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that. Wouldn't be surprised by that at all. Putin basically runs Donald Trump. And if that's what you voted for and you like that, well, good luck with that. Call them out and call them what they are. That's exactly right. That's what I do. What do you think Kamala's future in politics? Well, that's interesting. I heard some media people were talking about who will be the candidates in 2028. This is not the time to think about it. We've got a lot of fucking water over the bridge before that happens. But my wife was upset that Kamala wouldn't be one of the prominent candidates. And I don't think she would be candidate for president in 2028. If we can't get 50% of this country vote for a black woman, why would we try it again in 2028? I'm just appalled that that's the case. I didn't want to believe that was the case, but fucking apparently it was. Now, somebody suggested that Gavin Newsom will probably run for president in 2028, and then Kamala Harris may run for the governorship of California. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I could see that. If this were a movie, I would say this could never happen. We are living a nightmare. Yeah, I wouldn't say well, you might say we're living a nightmare. If you wrote this script and turned it into Hollywood, they say, well, that's not realistic. That makes no sense. And it doesn't. None of it makes sense. Don't talk about people. Look, buddy, you should look in the mirror resorting to personal attacks. Yeah. And your name's Pump Guy. You're done. Got a little warning because one of you Trump humpers got butt hurt. Jesus Christ. It's amazing to me that these people still come here. What's your point? You won. That was the whole point, wasn't it? You won the presidency, you won the Senate, you won the House. Why don't you get to fucking work? Why do you come here? And if anybody has a problem with me calling somebody out for the way they look and they happen to be Trump-a-fucks, too fucking bad. Look, I'm an old white guy. I'm not in the best shape. My hair is going. I have a lot of issues to deal with. I own them. I'm fine with them. If you said that to me, I'd say, yeah, you're probably right. I'm not going to whine and cry like some pussy ass bitches will. Stay off the channel if you don't like the way he wants his own channel. That's an excellent point. This is my live on my TikTok. If you don't like it, go off someplace and you are a breath of fresh air, sir, Lillen. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. People forgot they voted for a convicted felon for president. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Or they don't care. And that's more disturbing than anything else. They don't care. They don't care that he's an adjudicated rapist. They don't care that he's been convicted 34 times. They don't care that he stole classified documents and gave them to adversarial countries. They don't care that he tried to mount an insurrection and overthrow the government for 50% of the country. Now, some people will say, well, I voted for Trump because I'm Republican. I don't stand with Trump. If you voted with Trump, you are complicit in all the things they do. You are an accessory after the fucking fact. Don't try to walk away from it now. You did what you did. You're going to have to live with it for the next 4 years, and we're not going to make it pleasant. We're going to be some talking motherfuckers. We're going to do exactly what the Republicans did for the 4 years Joe Biden was in. We're going to mention every failure, which there'll be many. We're going to throw it in your face. We're going to make fun of you. We're going to make your life motherfucking impossible. Uh, MS GMC says you are perfect the way you are and smarter than most. Um, they're not like us. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say I'm perfect. I don't even think my family or my wife would say I'm perfect, but I am who I am. I am authentic. If you met me on the street, you would find me to be the same. Anybody who knows me off the internet, they will uh, they will agree with you. I was in Tybee Island earlier today, and I'm walking down the street with my wife and my son, who are wholly unimpressed about whatever I do on TikTok. Gentleman walks up to me and goes, "Hey, you're on TikTok a lot." And I looked at him. I'm thinking I'm in Georgia, but I'm in Tybee in Savannah, so it's kind of blue. First thing I said to him was, "Are you friend or foe?" I mean, I don't give a shit. You want to talk shit to me, I'll play. But the fact of the matter is, he was a friend and he's a follower, and I'm excited about that. Well, it looks like they blew me off of the live. The whiny little bitches that are the Trumplafucks. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. They can't take me off the podcast, the Rational Boomer podcast. Um, I got to see what they did here. Well, let me see here. I'm going to try to get back up on there. Oh, live access suspended. You can go live and join a live as a guest starting from November 25th. So they give me a what 10 day, 10 day, fucking unbelievable. These guys win the fucking race and they still have to come on and pout and cry and do the shit that they do. Well, anyway, that ends the live on TikTok. That is what it is. And I guess I can appeal it possibly, which I will. TJ Plummer, uh, it just texted me. He goes, "What the fuck happened?" Let me text him. T- TJ, they violated me and suspended from lives for 10 days. All right, let's get to getting. We still have the Rational Boomer podcast. We still have 20, 25 minutes left. So now I got to fill time. But don't worry, that's my specialty. I've always said that I don't necessarily speaking quality all the time, but I got quantity down. I can go for motherfucking ever. And I will. I'm going to keep talking about these people. Now, in the live, we were talking. This is the big story from yesterday. We were talking about Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough. I've never been a big fan of Joe Scarborough. Joe tends to whine and cry, and you don't know where he's really coming from. And he doesn't shut up. He keeps interrupting people, and he thinks he's funny. I don't find him funny. You won't be surprised to find out he's a former Republican politician. So that's maybe why I don't like him. But again, for the 7 years Donald Trump had been around while president and after he was president, they talk so much shit about him. They talk so much shit about him. And then, of course, Donald Trump didn't like him because they were being mean to him. Now, the important thing to understand is that these two were friends of Donald Trump before he was president. Of course they were. And after he became president, they called him out. He called them out. And now that he's going to be make nice, maybe we better make nice with the president. Otherwise, we won't have access. And that's the point. That's the point. He he's going to hate anybody that talks badly about him, but they can make up with him in a minute by patting him on the back and say, "You won, you're a genius." The important thing to remember about the media, they have been complicit in Donald Trump winning the first election, complicit in him winning the second election. And people say, well, that's just the right side. No, the left side too. They keep giving him free airtime. They don't hold his feet to the fire, but they do just the opposite to Biden and Kamala Harris. The media, left side media, is as guilty as anybody. with the right side media, Fox News and the like, you know what to expect. You expect that out of them, but not the left side media. They're supposed to be a little more um, unbiased, have some integrity. But the fact of the matter is they don't. Now, I'm sure Mika and Joe were getting freaked out because MSNBC since November 5th has lost almost half of its audience. That's a lot of motherfucking money. That's a lot of cachet and a lot of power that they don't have anymore. So they had to think of a way to, they had to think of a way to try to save themselves. So apparently they've thought, well, if they can get some of the 50% of the Trump-fucks back, then maybe, just maybe, we could possibly do that. Um, yeah, that's not going to happen. Okay, I'm just appealing my live. And here's the thing about it: I can appeal this, and if I win, it'll come off in 24 hours. It still fucks up the existing live, but it takes off the time I can do lives. If I really need to do a live sometime between now and the next 10 days, I'll just do it on YouTube. I don't care. There's a lot about TikTok that pisses me off as of late. There's a lot of fucking around and there's a lot of pressure and a lot of Trump-a-fox crying and whining. And you have to jump through a lot of hoops to do what you do on TikTok. I would never quit TikTok per se because I have a lot of followers there and I have a responsibility to them to be there every day like they've expected and like they've seen for the last 4 years. But I really tend to like YouTube better because I have a lot more flexibility. And Spotify too. That's where you get the audio podcast, as many of you know, or the video podcast on YouTube. I feel like I have more flexibility and I'm less at risk in terms of a platform than I am with TikTok. I mean, that's the fucking thing about it is that why I cut out Trump-a-fucks all these times is because I'm worried about saving or securing my platform. Shouldn't have to do that by just speaking the truth, but that's the way it goes on TikTok. Did you hear Donald Trump had another appointment? President-elect Donald Trump has tapped Fox business co-host to be the nation's. That's interesting. What kind of experience might he have, politically or otherwise? So Trump said Monday he's nominating former Representative Sean Duffy, a Republican from Wisconsin, to head the agency. Duffy notably gained fame as a cast member on MTV's The Real World Boston in '97 and appeared on Road Rules, All Stars the following year. So this is a serious candidate. He's also served as an ESPN color commentator and currently hosts The Bottom Line on Fox Business, frequent Fox News contributor. He's also married to Rachel, who is this? Rachel Campos Duffy, who Trump called a star on Fox News, which means she must be cute. Ah, man. Donald Trump must sit around with his people and say, what's the dumbest motherfucker we could appoint? And let's just do it because that's how I feel. We get the sense that he's looking to destroy the government. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think he's looking to destroy it. I don't think he's sharp enough to create a strategy or make an effort to do such a thing. But I think the people around him will do whatever they want to do and manipulate Donald Trump. I think that's really what's going on. But nonetheless, we have to deal with this bullshit. Now, Donald Trump, when it comes to Matt Gaetz being the AG, that's just fucking laughable. I mean, there's going to be information coming out about his investigation regarding sex trafficking, sex with underage girls, paying underage girls to have sex with him. That came out yesterday. Drug trafficking, drug taking, all this stuff is going to come out. Now, the Republicans are doing everything they can to not expose the ethics investigation that they did. Matt Gaetz tried to game that situation by quitting at the last minute, 2 weeks after being elected, so that they wouldn't have the authority over them and they couldn't release it. Well, he didn't really know what he was doing. They could release it. There is no rule or law that says they can't. Mike Johnson said, I'm going to tell them not to. Well, here's the thing, Mike, you don't have any authority over the ethics committee. So nice story, but you're not going to be able to make that call. But if for some reason these fucks in Congress, Democrats and Republicans alike, somehow get stuck in the mud and don't release it officially, I will guarantee you that there are enough motherfucking people that hate Gaetz in the House of Representatives, Republicans and Democrats. I bet you see that thing leaked. And that's not what they want to do. They don't want to see that shit leaked. They don't want their name of their attorney general candidate tied to sex trafficking, sex with underage women. We know he fucking did it. My question is the DOJ knows he did it, so why did they drop the case? Another Merrick Garland fuck up. This motherfucker, Merrick Garland, needs to go away and his legacy needs to be destroyed. He wasn't just a bad AG, he was complicit with the Republicans. Everything he did put us in this position we are in right now. Had he gone after Donald Trump on January 21st, 2021, like he could have, we would have been done with this. Donald Trump would have never run for president. He'd be in fucking jail and we wouldn't be going through this shit. So that's what I'm saying. You know, when I talk about the Democrats stepping on their own dick, we got all these people that decided not to vote for whatever reason. And then we got Merrick Garland muddying the road all the way for the last 4 years. Democrats lost and they're crying and whining, but they did it to themselves. And that's what is frustrating at this point. They fucking did it to themselves. All right. Holy Christ. I'm still annoyed that they took me down. It's been a long time since TikTok has taken down one of my lives. The Trump-la-fucks were there. TJ was there. Greg Captain was there. Why are the Trump-la-fucks trying to hit me harder after they won? They just want to fight. They just want to fight. And I would be happy to fight them in a fair fight. I've had them on the show here. Didn't go well for them. I don't know that I really want to have them back on the show now because they're inconsequential. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to argue about. You won. Go do what you're supposed to fucking do and shut the fuck up. You guys can talk amongst yourself. You can talk your clown bullshit amongst yourself. Don't talk to me about it. I don't have time for it. Neither do anybody else, does anybody else in this audience. We're either Democrats or at least have some integrity and enjoy the truth and facts and justice and all that shit. You don't. We have nothing in common. So fucking go away. Fortunately, I don't get many Trump-la-fucks that come to the podcast, and we're thankful for that. Apparently, Donald Trump is calling GOP senators, trying to encourage or try to leverage them into voting for his nominees. Imagine this. You're the Republican candidate for the presidency. You win, and you want to appoint who you want to appoint in the various cabinet positions. You can't even get the fucking Republicans, your own team, to vote for the people you pick. That tells you how fucking strong you are and tells you what we're in for with the Republican Party. This is what I've said before. We can worry about all the horrific things that the Republican Party does, but they're incompetent. Donald Trump at the top of the list. They can't get anything done because they're not used to doing anything. They have no strategies. They have no platform. They have nothing. All they can do is try to own the libtards. Well, you beat the libtards. Now you actually got to do something, and therein lies the problem for the Republicans. They don't have the wherewithal to do it. They can't even get along with themselves. I saw this comedy sketch. I forgot what show it was on, um, but they were talking about the Matt Gaetz. This is a joke. They're talking about Matt Gaetz being the candidate for AG. And this fake reporter was asked, so what's the strategy for the Democrats? And she said, well, the Democrats are all going to vote for Matt Gaetz. They're at a point where they say, fuck around and find out. Sure, put Matt Gaetz in there and see what great a job he does for you. See how he's going to embarrass you. And to a certain extent, I kind of agree with it, even though it's a joke. You want to do something really stupid, something that's going to make you look silly. Go ahead. Go ahead. So we can sit back and laugh at your ass and watch you continually failing. You've done it since Donald Trump took office, and you're going to continue, even though you have power here or think you do. Um, you're not going to accomplish anything. And you know it. That's why you want to still come argue with us. You want to find some way to blame the Democrats. Well, I will tell you this, for the next 2 years, while you have possession of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, don't come to us. You got all the power. All right, we can't do anything. That's what you wanted. So when there's a fuck up, when the prices go up, when inflation goes up, when gas prices go up, just plan on us Democrats doing the same thing that you did to the Democrats doing the same thing to the Republicans that they did to the Democrats for the last 4 years. We are going to laugh at your shit. We're going to complain, and we are going to be screaming it from the mountaintops. So the next election, the only people you have to blame for your inabilities is you. And so, in some respects, it's kind of a relief. Everybody's worried, well, if the Democrats can do to hurt them, because Republicans have all the fucking power. So fuck you. Do what you're going to do. Be what you're going to be. This is an interesting story. Remember when Project 2025 came out and it got bad reviews from Democrats and Republicans alike. And Donald Trump said, "Oh, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Project 2025. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anybody who's their staff or former staff members of that team." But let's just say he's right. He doesn't know any of them. He doesn't know anything about it. Well, today, one of the appointees that he's throwing up there is a gentleman by the name of Brendan Carr, and he wants him to lead the FCC. Interesting thing about it is Brendan Carr is the one who wrote the whole section in Project 2025 about the FCC and broadcasting and laws and rules and regulations. Here's the thing. Let him be the leader of the FCC. The FCC becoming more and more inconsequential. They deal with broadcast media. They don't deal with this kind of media. They deal with broadcast media. And if you want to do some things to hurt ABC News, CBS News, NBC News, I don't care. That's not where people are going to get their news anyway. You might as well be a fucking blacksmith if you're head of the FCC at this point, because the network media is losing viewers by the millions all the time. The cable news outlets are losing viewers by the millions. People are tired of the bullshit. And you know where they're going? They're going to the fucking internet. That's what they're doing. They're going to the internet and trying to find somebody they trust, whether it be me or anybody else that's out here. There are plenty of people that are doing a good job in speaking the truth. If the people can't trust getting the truth from the networks or the cable companies, they're going to go away. And we're seeing that happen to this very situation. And go ahead, put them in charge of the FCC. You don't know anybody from Project 2025, but you've already agreed to take 2 authors from Project 2025 and put them in your cabinet. Republicans, you may not like Project 2025. I said Donald Trump was connected to Project 2025, and all you little Trump-fucks came saying he didn't have anything to do with it. That's what he said. They believed him. Imagine that, believing a pathological liar. How stupid can you be? But you didn't believe me that he knew all about Project 2025. How are you feeling about that now? How are you feeling about that? You bought it, you broke it, you fucking keep it. And when things go to shit and you realize that you were duped, as you've always been duped by Donald Trump, we're not going to be here to let you cry on our shoulders. We're more likely to kick you in the fucking nuts. At least I would do that. So one other story that we've been talking about is Steve Bannon. Now, Steve Bannon was in jail up to the week prior to the election. They shut that greaseball's mouth up for 3 months, and he couldn't do anything. Soon as he pops out, he starts yakking and ranting and raving and trying to get some position in Donald Trump's cabinet. Whether he will or not, I don't know. But it won't do any good because he's probably going back to fucking jail. He was scheduled to start trial for a new case. And I don't know if you remember, but this case is interesting because when Donald Trump was talking about building the wall, Steve Bannon started a GoFundMe or something like that, collecting money to help build the wall. And he got something like $25 million. Unfortunately, what Steve Bannon did wasn't pay for the wall. He put that shit in his pocket. And now he's going on trial for that. However, he was supposed to go December 5th, and now they made it February or December 9th, and now they made it February 25th. I don't know why the judge did that. I don't know who the judge is. Maybe a Trump-la-fuck sycophant. It could be. Or why they delayed it. I suppose they wanted to delay it till actually Donald Trump was inaugurated so he could pardon Steve Bannon or whatever. You know what? I think you should pardon Steve Bannon. He didn't steal from me. He didn't steal from anybody I care about. He stole from dumb Trump-la-fucks. And if you want to let your guy steal from your own people and then pardon him for doing so, I don't give a fuck. In fact, Steve, I would start another GoFundMe and start taking more money from the Trump-la-fucks because we don't care. You want to be idiots? You want to lose all your money? Well, hop on that Trump Bannon train and start sending them your welfare checks because you red states, as much as you hate helping people, you people in the red states get more help from the government than anybody in the blue states. I dare say the blue states end up funding the free money that you motherfuckers get. So you want to shut all that down? Go ahead. But it's going to hurt you before it hurts anybody else. It just truly amazes me that they're so short-sighted and so simple-minded. Unfucking believable. A Florida newspaper unpacks what Matt Gaetz as AG truly means about Trump. It means he's incompetent. Part of me really wants to see him be AG because it will be a absolute shit show. And again, the Democrats will be able to stand back and go, see, motherfucker? I don't really think that Matt Gaetz has any chance of doing it, but it's not because of the Democrats. It's because the Republicans wants it. And so they are going to, Donald Trump will replace him with, probably won't be much better. Let's just hope he's not a sex traffic pedophile out there having sex with a fucking Republican. He factors in giving you a position in his cabinet is that you have some sex. Matt Gaetz, we know his problem. Then we had Pete Hegseth, that they want to put in the Defense Department, mainly because he was in the Army for a while or Special Services are on Fox News. He's not qualified. He's a goofball. He's a fucking idiot. And apparently he's been accused of sexual assault. Now, in that sexual assault, I never finally went to trial, and he will tell you that he was exonerated. He was not exonerated. What he did is paid off the woman to shut her mouth. Sound familiar? Donnie Trump and Stormy Daniels. Well, he paid her off, so he was not exonerated. And I dare say, if in fact you have to pay a woman off to not go to trial with you, I'm thinking you were probably fucking guilty. And if he becomes the director, there's going to be deep down. This is starting to be, or it's going to be very embarrassing for the Republicans. And I think they are finally realizing that. And they want help from the Democrats to keep these people out. I'm a Democrat. I say, fuck you. Wallow in your own shit. Okay. MSNBC's Jason Johnson blasts liberals for alleging voter fraud. There's no evidence of that. And, I kind of have to agree with that. I don't know if there's evidence of voter fraud. It's been a couple of weeks. I have seen nothing. I think people, when they lose, especially when they feel like they're in desperate situations, that the world is going to end, that they want to grab onto anything. So when some dipshit shows up on TikTok and says, well, if you put this together and that together, this means this, and that means there's voter fraud. Just you wait. That's the exact same thing the Trump-la-fucks did. Look, if you win, you got to be gracious. If you lose, you lose. You can't worry about what happened before. You got to worry about what happens next. And that is the question. We've got to decide what we do next. And we're limited because we have no power in the House. Well, we have some power because the Republicans can't do it themselves. And so all we can do is keep calling them out, make them accountable for the things they do, and let them fuck up. There's a woman saying the same things I'm saying here. She's the point to Fox News when they do the show. Jessica Tarloff reminded her Fox News colleagues of Laura Ingram's famous shut up and dribble remark on Monday after they celebrated a series of clips of athletes imitating President-elect Donald Trump. Now, after Tarloff's co-host on The Five boosted a compilation of clips that showed NFL players and UFC star John Jones performing Trump's viral dance, Tarloff said, let's see here. Tarloff said, so I guess we've gotten to the portion of the Trump era where we have moved past shut up and dribble. And now it is fantastic for athletes to be talking about their politics or expressing their politics, because that was one of the critical points when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling when LeBron James was speaking out. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. These people don't know what to do now that they won. All they knew how to do is celebrate. And in order for them to celebrate, we've got to feel bad. We've got to cry. We've got to be upset. They want to feel the power that they won. But here's the deal. We don't give a fuck. So they don't know what to do about it. She goes on to say, and I get it. Donald Trump wants to take a victory lap, and he won, and he should. And I think the liberals are doing the right thing, and they're thinking about how this coalition was formed. What part of our coalition was lost in order for him to make that win? I don't think that kind of bragging that people who don't consume the news are the ones that are winning in this, because they are dangerous. And Jessica Tarlov's absolutely right. We can't whine and cry over spilt milk. What happened, happened. Now we got to decide what the fuck we do next. And there are some things we can do. And we've got to be strong about it. As I said on November 6th, when I found out Donald Trump won, I wasn't sad. I wasn't crying. I was fucking livid. I was mad. And I wasn't mad at Donald Trump. I was mad at Democrats for fucking this up. They had the best opportunity. Kamala Harris had the most enthusiasm of any presidential candidate in history. Donald Trump was absolutely the worst candidate in presidential history. There is no way Kamala should have lost. And the only way she did lose is because a bunch of Democrats sat on their ass. That's what happened. Is there election fraud? You know, there could be. When Donald Trump isn't involved, it could be fucking anything crazy. It's possible. But I got to see the evidence before I start even talking about that. At this point, what we know is that Democrats fucked themselves. And I'm angry about that. Angry with Democrats. You had your opportunity. Not only did you miss your opportunity, you put this country in danger because of your fucking pride or your protest or whatever the fuck you did. You thought, I'm going to stand up for what I believe and I'm going to protest. Well, you did. Now, you people that were mad at Joe Biden about Gaza, well, you got what you asked for. But I don't think you realized what you were going to get. And now what you've done is put the poor people in Gaza, the Palestinians, even more danger and more likelihood that they will be killed. Well, good for you. You made your fucking protest. That wasn't Donald Trump's fault. That was the Democrats who didn't vote for Kamala Harris. There were 15 million fewer votes in the 2024 election than there was in 2020. How the fuck does that happen? I said that there would be more votes in the 2024 election because facts made that make sense. The reason we had such a big turnout in 2020 wasn't because Joe Biden was a great candidate. We had no idea what he would do when he became president. They turned out because they hated and were terrified of Donald Trump. After all we saw over the next ensuing 4 years and the overturning of Roe v. Wade and all that sort of thing, it's reasonable to think we would get more voters because they would hate him more and be terrified of him more. Rationally, that's what I thought. And I think I was on solid ground thinking that, but that's not what happened. And it's not about what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump didn't get any more votes in 2024 than he did in 2020. Kamala Harris got about 13, 14, 15 million less votes than Joe Biden got in 2020. And that makes no motherfucking sense. And that isn't because Donald Trump is a good candidate. It's because the Democrats fucked up. And I'm angry about the Democrats at this point. I'd still rather have a Democrat than a Republican in office because it's better. But we as a country have to look at what we've got going on here. What's going on is disappointing. The people in this country, the parties in this country, the media in this country, they are all failing us and they're failing this country. We've got a lot to fix, and politics is just one of them. We've got a lot of issues coming together to put us in this position, and I'm fucking angry about it, and you should be too. A problem here is in the Constitution, the power is supposed to go to we the people, but the power isn't with we the people because for so many years we've been apathetic. Power goes to politicians, the elites, both Democrat and Republican. Power goes to the fucking media. Power goes to the billionaires and the big companies. And that is that way because we allowed it. Now, the only thing we can do is try to grab that shit back. And the only way we can do that is to talk loud, um, tell them what we want and what we don't want. Public opinion is a very strong tool, and it's the only tool we have. And the only way we maximize that tool is get loud and keep talking, doing what we're doing. We don't have to worry about Trumplefucks anymore. We aren't in competition with them anymore. We're in competition with saving democracy and keeping this country full of integrity and decency. That's what we're in this fight for. We don't have to join a team to do that. The fucking teams are fucked anyway. We need to fight together. The team must be we the people, we the decent people. That's what we have to do. Now that sounds, yeah, but what do we do? You keep talking, you keep watching and listening and learning from people who are telling the truth as opposed to the fucking people that will lie or try to manipulate you. We got 4 years to figure this out regarding the presidency and only 2 years to try to get Congress straight. That's a lofty goal for a bunch of motherfuckers that couldn't win the most obvious winning election for Kamala there was. We got work to do. We've got to figure out what's wrong with some Democrats at this point and fix what's going on in their head. Some people say we should have an independent party. Well, that's fine. That will split up the Republican and the Democratic Party to a certain extent, maybe get people of a like mind. Sure, that's a possibility, but that takes money and time. There's no way an independent party is going to be able to pick up to speed and compete in 2 years or 4 years. It's just not going to happen. We don't have that kind of time. We've got to fix this situation. So, in this circumstance, we've got Republicans and Democrats. The lesser of two evils is the Democrats. They're the more decent. They have the most integrity. So, we need to go to that side and somehow fix that fucked up mess that is the Democratic Party. So, that's what we'll do. And we'll do that by talking real loud and explaining to the Democrats what you're doing, we don't like. You need to figure out what the majority of the people on the Democratic side want and then fight for that. Don't puss out. Don't be pussy ass bitches. Stand up and motherfucking fight. Because if you don't, there's a lot at risk. Nothing serious, just our form of government, democracy, and the country itself, and all of us that have been taken for a ride. Sounds, Mike, like you hate everybody. No, I don't hate everybody. Got a lot of good people on TikTok and the podcast and some of the other things we're doing. A lot of people have come together, people of a like mind that want to do something about this. I'll stick with them for the moment. The rest of the people, I'm angry with them. I am. And I think you probably are too. We're in a fucking mess right now because of them. Donald Trump wasn't great in this campaign. He didn't get more votes. The Democrats got fewer votes. How the fuck does that happen? Well, we know how it happens. That shit's got to stop. And here's the thing, these people that will have touched the stove and burned themselves will now revert back and do the right thing 2 years from now. But 4 years from now, will they still? Will they forget how badly they fucked up? Yeah, they'll probably forget and they'll try to do it again. So we've got to do something to shore up the Democratic Party and make it a better party. We've got a lot of improvement that needs to be done. And we're going to have to count on politicians to do that. But we need to get some legitimate candidates for president and start hyping them now, not 90 days before the election, like poor Kamala had to deal with. She did an exceptional job for the short time she had, but she didn't have enough backing from the Democrats, people like Nancy Pelosi and some of these other people that wanted to jump over her. Joe Biden should have not. And I'm not faulting Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a good guy. He was a great president. But Joe Biden should have stuck by his guns and not run again in 2024. That way, we could have built a candidate in over 4 years and been in a better position and better messaging. I don't know. The Democrats might still have fucked it up, but at least we would have had a better choice. What I wish for Joe Biden is that he takes well-deserved rest henceforth. I hope he lives an even longer life so he's got time to enjoy things. He's deserved that. He earned that. But the last thing I want to talk about, and people bring this up when it comes to these election fraud conspiracy theories. I am curious when Donald Trump went to the White House and met with Joe Biden. That is a weird situation. I don't know how to explain that or what was going on there because they were so nice together. Some people were talking about the. So here's one story that somebody told me. And I don't, they didn't tell me, I think this is real. They said, what do you think about this? And the story is this, that when Joe Biden and Donald Trump met, Donald Trump already knew he was going to get caught and he was going to get off by throwing other people under the bus. And he was doing that by naming these people to the cabinet. That's why Joe Biden was smiling. To this day, I want to know why he was smiling. He's looking at a man who's going to destroy the country he tried to save, and you're smiling. I don't get that. Joe is an old school politician. He wants to play nice. He wants to play by the rules. Unfortunately, you're going up against a bully, a corrupt criminal. You can't play by the same rules. If nothing else, we should have learned that over the past 4 years. So that whole thing was interesting. The fact that Joe Biden said, I'm going to do everything I can to have a peaceful transition of power. And then Donald Trump said, yes, we'll have a peaceful transition of power. That is a set of nuts on a guy who did just the opposite 4 years previously. I didn't understand that whole conversation or what was going on or why Joe was laughing. A lot of people look at that and say, oh, that means there's a conspiracy or that means this. I don't buy that. I really don't buy that. Now is the time to forget about conspiracy theories. And how about we do this? We deal with truth, facts, and do the best we can with what we have to fucking work with. That's probably the best course right now. And it's about time we fucking do it. We've been in nothing but chaos for 4 fucking years. Let's stop that because chaos doesn't work for us. Let's get serious, let's get truthful, and let's get tough. That's what we fucking need to do. All right, I'm winded here. I'm an old man ranting for an hour and 15 minutes. Time to let you get some sleep and time for me to probably get some sleep. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen. I hope you have a great night and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.